Hello and welcome to WCBO News. I'm your host, Robert Miller. We've received word that in the last few days that the situation in India has been steadily growing worse. This all started when the British granted independence to the nation of India. A political group by the name of the All-Muslim League, led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, insisted on the partition of the newly freed land into not one but two independent nations, the second of which is called Pakistan. We have with us our correspondent Dave, who is currently situated on the Pakistani-Indian border in the Punjab region. Dave, what's the scoop?
All right, thanks, Rob. Although India may be going through a period of beautiful weather here, the locals aren't in the position to really enjoy it. Relations between the local Muslims and Hindus have been growing worse over the course of this week due to the heightened tensions of migrating to their respective countries. As a result, several thousand women have been taken from their homes, raped, or killed, and extreme acts of religious violence have taken place. On top of that, thousands have been displaced from their homes in an attempt to switch sides, so to speak. Now there are two countries in place where there used to be one. Many Hindus who lived in what is now known as Pakistan are making the long trek to India, where they find comfort and sanctity in a Hindu-dominated nation. On the flip side, those Muslims who have long lived as minorities in the heavily Hindu nation of India are seeking asylum in the newly established Pakistan, where Muslims will form a considerable majority. Although tensions have been high between those of Hindu and Islamic faiths, some are surprised to see such a transition happening so quickly after the end of British rule. Great lengths have been taken to get to this point. One of the most notable of these displays of opposition was the Salt March, which occurred in 1930 and involved politician and activist Mahatma Gandhi and his followers walking a symbolic journey of 240 miles to the coast as to expose the world to the British salt regulations by harvesting their own sea salt and selling it. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him for a live interview, but we were able to contact Gandhi through long-wave radio. He is joining us now. Tell me, Mr. Gandhi, what thoughts occurred to you as you led the Salt March?
For one, I was hoping Indians wouldn't have to participate in the Salt March in the first place. It was only necessary due to the unnecessary and harsh salt laws imposed on us by the British government. Although I stand here now and say I wish the conditions were different, that does not accomplish anything. It is not by wishing, but by doing that India is able to make change in the world. And on the subject of the violence happening now, those on the council have thought what we see here was to be expected, but I disagree. The ends should not justify the means. We came all this way together. I think it is rather unfortunate we should then choose to become separate again as if this is the same India prior to partition. It is not. Of course, it is not perfect, but we should nonetheless work together, regardless of religion, gender, race, and creed. Doing so is one of the defining features of our democracy. And democracy in general. In regards to the government, I feel peace should not be determined by military and police but by the people. And that's one of the big things we need to concern ourselves with right now, on top of the other changes we are currently making to the office. I feel we should not centralize the power of the state. Similar to Marx. We need to be human beings, Dave, and there's just some things the government should control.
And from what I understand, you're fasting to protest this.
That's correct, specifically in regards to the violence. I feel that doing so is my moral duty, if it means that it will help the people of both India and Pakistan change their ways. It also worked in the past. I hope it will convince many to reconsider their actions.
We're running a little behind on time, Mr. Gandhi. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to go into our next section soon. Is there anything you would like to leave us with?
You must be the change you wish to see in this world, and an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. I hope many will take these words into consideration during this time as we continue forward.
All right, best of luck. It was a great honor and pleasure speaking with you. Back to you, Rob.
Fasting in protest. Now, that's not something you see every day, but it's working. Many are changing their ways. That was Gandhi, the Indian revolutionary, speaking on the numerous acts of violence currently going on. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen, but I've just been given a quick update here. Nehru, the current Prime Minister, has gotten back to us on the topic of an interview, and it seems that he is currently available to speak with us. Dave, do you have Nehru with you? Is Nehru there? Alright, cut to Dave.
Here I am again, this time with Indian Prime Minister Nehru. Mr. Nehru, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. I am pleased to be here.
One thing many of us who aren't very knowledgeable about Indian politics wonder is, how do you and Gandhi differ in your views? That is, how will India function as a nation under your leadership, and how will it work together with other nations?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking it. I would like to say that although I view Gandhi as a great inspiration, and I agree with him on many topics, I have to disagree on his views of government and to some extent, non-violence. We need to have a government, because without it many won't change their ways. We need to enforce order. Sad to say, but that's just the way things are. Some people are, and open to change when given free will. Facts are facts regardless of your likes. And yes, I wanted to talk about how these changes will affect our position with other countries. Gandhi wants us to be entirely independent, and as such not interfere with the actions of other countries, but again, I have to disagree. If we are to make any advancements, we will need to collaborate with other countries. I just find it odd that a man who puts so much emphasis on the power of unity thinks that the best option is often to work independent of other countries. That is a strong difference between us. So yes, we will hopefully be willing and able to work with other countries. We are just going through a period of transition right now.
Alright, thank you for your time, Nehru. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
That's the end of our segment on India, folks. In other news, Thor Heyerdahl's Kon-Tiki raft completed its 101-day voyage across the Pacific Ocean. Additionally, President Truman signed in the National Security Act, which will create multiple new government programs, including the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA for short. The question we have is, what could go wrong? But we'll get back to that after this break. Please stay tuned for a special message from our sponsor.
Ugh. Oh, hi there. My name is Bjorn Boyce. You may recognize me from various television and film appearances, but something you might not know about me is that I'm a guy who likes to stay clean. And that's why I use Britaway. Now, Britaway is a fantastic product. In fact, there's nothing else like it. Other bar soap, you know where that goes. Liquid soap, who even uses this? Right? Now, Britaway, that's the good stuff. Works great. Let me show you. Right, all you gotta do is just wet it a little bit. Clean your hands, get them nice and good. Let me tell you something else about this. You know, other soaps, they stink, they look bad, they're greasy, and they're even brittle. They break all over you. Let me tell you, Britaway won't break. Strong as India. Have the evils of British imperialism got you down? Britaway. To keep the Brits at bay, use Britaway.